You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. And if you'd like to be a part of the show today, we'd love to hear from you. 651-289-4488 will get you on the show. Your comments on anything we're talking about, or if you've got something new you want to bring up, we'll be happy to discuss that as well. Tony is broadcasting live from the Concierge Landscape Studios. I'm broadcasting from the Extreme Exteriors Mobile Broadcasting Unit, powered by Skype. And we have this news story that's coming out of Florida. Tony, why don't you tell our folks about it?
The headline is New Law Lets Condo Boards Off the Hook for Releasing Personal Info with Your Okay. The byline on this is June 27th, 2011. Daniel Vasquez, the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. Condo owners, be careful what personal info you give your association. Under a new law that takes effect July 1st, condo associations will no longer be held liable for inadvertently releasing an owner's personal information, including driver's license, credit card, and social security numbers, if it was voluntarily provided as part of an official record and without the association's request. For instance, if an owner supplies personal info in a letter to the association, that letter and its contents could end up in the association's official records files, making it open to inspection by other owners. Here's a quote. The law basically gives the association protection should it give out that information inadvertently, said Michael Bender of the law firm K & Bender, which represents hundreds of South Florida associations. As a practical matter, no association should be handing out such personal information on purpose, he went on to say. The law, signed by Governor Rick Scott, modifies a Florida regulation barring associations from releasing such information under virtually any circumstances. The amended law still prohibits associations from knowingly handing out a condo owner's private information or releasing details specifically requested by a board or association. The measure does not cover homeowners associations in Florida. So, Gene, what are your thoughts about this?
This is kind of a scary thing. Can you imagine someone having their personal information like their social security number, credit card number, and driver's license, all of that personal information being sent out by their homeowners association? I think when I first heard about this story, the first thing that came to my mind is all who read it are going to be wondering, what is my association doing to make sure that I'm protected? Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
I do, but I'm confused about a couple of things. And I know that state statute is different in Florida than it is in Minnesota. But this is covering information that was voluntarily offered to the association, but not requested by the association. So I'm trying to think of circumstances where an owner would voluntarily give the association their credit card information when there was no reason to ask for it, except perhaps banking information to set up an automatic payment of their assessments, something like that. I wonder if that's an instance.
Yeah, what I was trying to think along those same lines too, Tony, about what would be the circumstances where this information would be inadvertently sent out. And I could see something where, let's say there was a letter sent out by the association because the person had gotten delinquent and behind in their dues. And so they send letters back and forth to one another, come to an agreement. And the agreement also states that the homeowner is going to fill out the ACH form and now have their assessment automatically debited each month. Right. And that's in the back of this violation letter and the other corresponding information. I can see where some other homeowner comes in and they say, I want to know what's going on in my HOA, and I've got a right to take a look at information. I want to see that other people are getting violation letters and not just me.
Right, which members have the right to see the association records,
yes.
Correct?
And so what ends up happening is the association management company or the board, if it's self-managed, pulls together some of that information, makes copies, not realizing that some of this is under the bottom of some of these other letters.
Sure. So it's accidental.
It's in the hand of someone else.
Yeah, it's accidental. It's inadvertent.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think it is okay to have this type of protection with the state saying to an HOA, look, if it was inadvertent, we're not going to charge you any further.
I actually like anything that protects the homeowners association in its operations, and I think this is a reasonable thing to say. If it's accidental, the association cannot be held liable. Now, I think that a homeowners association should probably right now start developing some policies on how confidential information is going to be handled. Don't you think, Gene, that a board could decide, you know what, anything that contains any of this information, we're going to treat as confidential, and we're going to set it aside from all the members?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think having good policy and protocol in place would be a key.
And I think in order to avoid an accident.
Yes. The other thing that came to my mind, Tony, was that do you remember this last legislative session in Minnesota here? There was a bill that was promoted by Poga, Miller, and Kahn in the Senate. And in it, they wanted to place a cap on the cost of information that was being copied and sent to another homeowner. And they wanted to cap it at 25 cents a page.
Okay, so if a member requested copies of the delinquencies or file,
yes,
when they wanted to cap that at 25 cents per page.
Yes, I think the way they have that law set up would allow for more inadvertent information to be sent out. Because if we talk about having protocol and taking the time, to make sure that this kind of private information doesn't get out, it's going to take some time for someone not just to run at the copy machine and copy a few things off, but they're going to have to take some time to make sure. Now, is there a Social Security number in this letter? Is there a check number? Is there a Social Security credit card number? All of those types of things. That takes time, and that's going to take a cost.
And you know what? I have managed homeowners associations now for 11 years. I don't think I've ever had people's driver's license numbers or their Social Security numbers. So I'm not sure how often this happens in real life.
Well, I think it's probably happening a little bit more because one of the things that I'm seeing is that because of the economy being the way it is, a number of homeowner associations are working out payment plans with homeowners at a greater rate than they did before because there isn't equity in a home to try and recoup by going into foreclosure. And so I think there probably is a bit more information that's being passed on as they come to these types of agreements. I think this type of thing certainly could be more common now and going into the future. And to me, a law like was passed just this last year makes it difficult because if you really want to protect this kind of information from folks getting out, I think you need to realize it's going to take some time to make sure that someone goes through those documents before sending them out to someone else.
Good point.
Yeah. But that is what's happening in Florida. We'd love to hear from you on that. Folks, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk next about someone who's using the dog's DNA as an identification tool to catch those who are not picking up after their pooch. Another great story you'll hear only here on Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We'll be back after these messages.